We did it. Charles Oliveira has defeated Max Holloway in one of the more lopsided decisions we have seen in a long time. Max Holloway looked like he had no clue what he was doing on the ground, got held in half guard the entire fight. Charles Oliveira literally turned into a Dagestani for 25 minutes. I'm stunned by this. Even with all of the improvements in the offensive wrestling game from Charles Oliveira, I would have never predicted it to be this bad. I mean, Max Holloway, I had questions. I was like, he hasn't really fought any primary grapplers or grapplers to the level of Charles Oliveira. And it showed in this fight. I mean, he was taken down with pretty much ease multiple times where there was throws, trips, getting to that body lock takedown. Credit to Charles Oliveira. He walked Max Holloway down this entire fight, limited the distance, which we knew he had to do. And he pieced up Max Holloway on the feet when the fight was standing. I mean, Max Holloway really didn't have any moments on the feet. Charles, I thought, landed much more cleanly. And who does that to Charles Oliveira? Who does that to Max Holloway, man? I'm stunned by just how badly he got ragdolled and really just controlled in this fight. Max Holloway I always thought did a good job pushing the head off, moving his hips, wall walking, like just getting up and, not being controlled. But Charles Oliveira, man, that was a different level of performance. Now I'll say this, and I'm a Charles Oliveira glazer. That shit was fairly boring. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a hot take by any means. I didn't think it was super exciting. I would have loved the vintage Charles Oliveira performance. Now that's kind of a tough fight to put in edit, because what do you put in the edit? Like that one time where he clipped him with a knee. He had a couple moments where he clipped him with his hands too. So I guess you can put it still in a edit, but yeah, it's just funny. I mean, you're not putting that to let it happen. You know what I mean? The only let it happen moment is where he gets the fucking belt wrapped around his waist. I don't even believe that there was 110 strikes thrown by Charles in this fight. Maybe there was. I thought he did a nice job at times, ground and pound with the elbows, threw up sub attempts. Now, this was, this had shades of Hamzat versus DDP, I won't lie. But at least Charles Oliveira was throwing up elbows on the ground and threatening submissions. I mean, I'll say this though, how many times in this fight did fucking Joe Rogan go, oh, that's in tight, and it wasn't tight. Like, you're not going to finish Max Holloway with a face crank or a neck crank. I thought Max Holloway did a good job, defending submissions for the most part. Didn't really give up his neck. Now, he gave up his back a ton and essentially just got backpacked. He had no chance. He was gassed for really the majority of this fight. Like, again, did a nice job tucking the chin and really not letting Charles to get the hands on him there. But I can't believe how badly he got controlled. It was really insane. Now, I said if Charles was going to win this, he was going to have to reduce the distance and really get Max's back to the cage. And he did just that. He was so aggressive with the takedowns. And I give credit to him. He wasn't like, I'm just going to go in here and stand and bang and get away from my game plan. He went out there and said, I'm going to fight this fight how I know I have to fight this fight. And that's chasing takedowns, getting the body lock, dumping Max Holloway. I mean, it was dominant. Who does that to Max? Again, I know I don't want to go Joe Rogan, but who really does that to Max Holloway? We hadn't seen anybody dominate him like that in grappling exchanges and even just in fights in general. I mean, you could look back at Volk fights or even when he gets knocked out by Ilya, but he never really had gotten smudged like that in any single fight in his career where it was so lopsided. Credit to Charles Oliveira. I'll say this. Was it a BMF level fight? Not necessarily. Even as a Charles fan, I'm the biggest Charles fan you're going to meet. I didn't think it was super exciting. The beginning was fun when, you see him take Max Holloway down. You're like, oh shit, look how fucking fast he took him down. And, he really took him down with such ease. Can Max Holloway defend the takedowns for 5 rounds? The answer to that is no. It was really a mauling by Charles Oliveira. Interesting to see what happens next. I kind of figured Charles is going to fight Arman for the vacant belt. I think Ilya is going to nuke Justin Gaethje, move up to fight Islam. We'll get Charles versus Arman. Max Holloway, I think, fights BSD. I think that's a banger of a fight. It really does suck, though, because even as a massive Charles fan, I think Max winning was better for the division in terms of you kind of get a little bit more of an intriguing matchup versus Ilya and kind of a reason for Ilya to stick around. Max versus Arman, I also think was interesting. We've already seen Charles versus Arman, but listen, I think this version of Charles Oliveira is the best we've seen in a very long time. He was not offensive wrestling like this in his prime when he had the lightweight belt. I just can't believe how he smudged this guy. And DDP versus Hamzat, you kind of expected Hamzat to just go out there, blast a ton of double legs. We kind of figured, DDP would stuff some of them. I didn't think Charles was going to come out here with this insane grappling heavy approach. I figured he would mix it in when he when he needed to. And I know it says 5 or 13 on takedowns. It just felt so much worse because of the control time. But I felt like he could get him whenever he wanted or just hold Max up against the fence. It was just really brutal. I just felt bad for Max Holloway at some point. Like, again, as a Charles fan, I almost was just like, damn, like, I can't believe he's getting fucked like this. And I told so many people this is going to be this generational main event. Oh, this is going to be a badass fight. And it just wasn't. And I thought it was funny when Joe Rogan's like, look at all these casuals booing. That was the funniest fucking thing ever. Because if I was there and I wasn't super biased to Charles, I would be booing my ass off too. He goes, why are these casuals booing? Joe Rogan's the biggest fucking casual too. That's the best part about me. This guy will just start talking about how submissions were in tight. They weren't even fucking close. Fucking look at all these casuals booing are the biggest casual ever. And DC was pissed the whole time because his boy is getting smudged. I'm happy for Charles. I don't have to wax my legs, which is a big thing. And yeah, obviously super happy for Charles. I really fuck if this guy beats Armin for the lightweight belt, I'm gonna freak out. But low-key, him turning into a Dagestani in, you know, his 14th year in the UFC is absolutely insane. But whatever, the rest of this card kind of sucked at me. Caio Borralho versus RDR. For the fact that 3 judges scored this 30-27 for Caio, when I thought it was like clear 29-28 and could have gone either way, was pretty insane. I thought Caio, you know, did a nice job mitigating the takedowns. Obviously, RDR only went 2 for 8 of takedowns. Caio landed a takedown of his own in the third, which I thought kind of swung that round for him, even though I think it was in the 3-minute mark. But you know what? I think it was the difference maker in that round. Even though he did really no damage with it, RDR, listen, the way this guy throws these overhands where he's just ducking his head and just hitting you with his wrist, it's just, I can't believe this guy is in the UFC with like the level of, you know, hands that this guy has. They're absolutely terrible. Again, it looks like you put fucking boxing gloves on a 6-year-old and told him to throw a punch. It's insane. But yeah, really just weird fight. I thought Caio did a nice job with calf kicks. He clipped RDR a couple of times. I don't know if they had any official knockdowns. Yeah, no, but he clipped him a couple of times. I figured he won this. I thought it was close. It could have gone either way. I thought the first round was for Caio. Like, I think RDR had landed a takedown in that first round. And I was just like, he didn't really do any damage with it. I just felt like Caio was better on the feet, even though the strike numbers were close. I think the significant strikes favored Caio slightly more. I don't know. It was a close fight. I didn't think it was a robbery, but 30-27 3 ways was insane. Yet again, I also bet on Caio, so maybe it's a little bit of bias here. This was another incredibly boring fight and kind of went exactly how you figured it. 16 for 18 on takedowns. Rob Font had been taken down like 25 times in those last 5 fights. He got backpacked. He got mogged. It wasn't really close. Even on the feet, you know, Raul Rosas Jr was able to land some punches. And I was talking to my boys. I was like, you think, you know, Rosas is going to be saying Chihuihuis until he's like fucking 40? You know what I mean? Like anytime you see this guy, you'd be like, Raul, say Chihuihuis. And then he's go, Chihuihuis. Like, is he going to do that till he's fucking 80? Like, you know what I mean? But Rob Font, buddy, get ready to learn the PFL. I thought he had decent get-ups at times, but it seemed as the fight went on, he kind of got controlled more. At least that's how I remembered it. I didn't take any notes for this fight because I was watching with my boys. But, I don't know, good win for Chihuihuis. This guy's somehow top 15. I don't really think he's that good, but he can beat guys like Rob Font and get him out of the division. So I guess that's funny. And man, what a weird... this fight should have been fucking canceled. The betting... And I saw a rumor going out there that Michael Johnson's nephew was being held hostage by some gang in St. Louis. I have no clue if that was true. But how did I go against Drew Dober? The guy only knocks out black people and minorities. And he fucking did it to Michael Johnson, who I thought won the first round. And then Drew Dober just fucking starched this dude so badly. And these guys had such a nice, you know, conversations and talk throughout the week. Kind of Drew Dober saying, you know, I don't really like that they're calling me the minority killer. Michael Johnson's like, yeah, I won't really talk about that anymore. And then he fucking just nukes Michael Johnson. You know, good win for Drew Dober. Again, you figure this was how this fight was going to go. Even though I took Michael Johnson by decision, so maybe I have no clue what I'm talking about. But the odds of one of these dudes knocking the other out is insanely high. Credit to Drew Dober, man. I mean, I thought he was eating shots well. The look smacks of the Mogger, the original Bone Smasher. Good win for Drew Good win for Drew Dober. Michael Johnson, it's why he's Dion Waiters, bro. You never know what version of this guy's going to fucking show up. And then RoboCop just stepping in, right hand, destroying Bruno Ferreira. That was satisfying. Evil Obama wins. He's going to destroy your family. RoboCop's such a cool-ass dude. This guy is so good. I think he's 36, but he looks 50, and he's Brazilian, so he very well could be 50. Just so much power in his hands. And he looked kind of patient early on. You know, the first couple minutes, you're like, or first, the first little bit of this fight, you're like, oh, maybe this is RoboCop's taking his patience. He's got to wait for Bruno Ferreira because he got knocked out last time. And credit him, he just stepped in, bang, knocked out Bruno Ferreira. Great win for RoboCop. Other than that, Cody Garbrandt versus Xiao Long. This legitimately might have been one of the worst / funniest fights I've ever seen. Cody Garbrandt whopping 28 total strikes in this. 28 strikes in this fight. Couldn't land one takedown. Got kneed in the balls or kicked in the balls 8 times. Was dry heaving. They had to put a bucket out. I've never seen them bring a bucket out for any of these things. Xiao Long is out here. I mean, he looked like a fucking monkey. He was like pointing down, ripping his hands in the air, saying, like, fight me, fight me, fight me. I saw Saudi every single time he kneed Cody Garbrandt in the balls. At a certain point, it was getting ridiculous. I started siding with Cody Garbrandt. Herb Dean was so pissed that he had to raise this guy's hand because he took away 2 fucking points for, shots in the knee, shots to the balls. This was really one of the dumbest fights I've ever seen. Cody Garbrandt, I would legitimately cut him. Like, he was so bad in this fight, just running around at range. I think the third time he got in the balls, he ran at Xiao Long and tried to knee him, and they just headbutted each other. I think there were like 2 headbutts, accidental clashes of heads in this fight. It was a disaster of a fucking feature fight on a real. Cody Garbrandt was trying to pull up a DQ masterclass and it fucking worked. I was screaming so loud. I was like, oh my God, Cody Garbrandt won. What a dumb fight. He didn't deserve to win this whatsoever. Just, I can't believe this guy was the champion at one point. Like, it's so hard to believe how good this guy used to be. It just is absolutely terrible now. Like, he is so bad. Xiao Long legitimately was hitting him clean sometimes. But I guess good win for Cody Garbrandt. He pulled out a bucket for the guy. They pulled out a bucket because he had the fucking dry heave. Then the rest of the prelim fights I was kind of in and out on because I was on a fucking plane. Dante Johnson wins by split decision. Cody Brundage, man, he almost fucking stole this one away from him. Landed 2 takedowns. I don't know. It was a really odd fight. Credit to Cody Brundage. He nearly cockroach maxed his way to a win over Dante Lockjaw Johnson. This would have been so fucking funny if he somehow pulled that off. Alberto Montes, submission. I think I had him by round 3 submission, so that was a good win for him. I really didn't watch this fight. I'm guessing he won by fucking anaconda choke. Tumen Dembarel. This was a terrible fight. Cody Durden with a whopping 8 significant strikes across 3 rounds. He was getting just like kind of controlled a lot by Tumen Dembarel, and then was getting pissed at the ref. I don't remember who the ref was. It was Herb Dean, Mark Goddard, somebody, for just Tumen Dembarel not doing anything, so he's throwing middle fingers up to the camera. Another weird fight that I was watching as I was waiting to get in my car. Who the fuck? Cody Durden sucks. And then Sumadarji, I kind of just saw he like outpointed Jesus Aguilar, just threw more strikes, landed more takedowns. Jesus Aguilar, again, kind of just, this is what he does. This is what he does. He's just looking for the big shots to land on you. Couldn't really land him. I love this little Mexican, though, but his arms are so short. I mean, this guy has he has like women's length arms. Like, it's kind of insane how fucking short his arms are. Like T-Rex arms. He couldn't do shit to Sumadarji. Good win for him, I guess. Again, a fight I didn't really watch much. Rafa Tobias. The funny thing is, I got the first 2 fights on this card wrong, and then only got 1 wrong. The rest of the fight, that was the Michael Johnson fight. But why the fuck did this stop? Hold on. Why the fuck did this freeze? Why the fuck did this freeze? Hold on. Why did this freeze? Why did this freeze? Why did this freeze? Why did this freeze? I don't even know why that fucking froze, but who really cares? Because other than the Cody Garbrandt, all the rest of the fights suck. So who really gives a shit? Again, weird card, really kind of a lackluster pay-per-view overall. Good win for Charles. Absolutely dominated overall. Again, not great. I'm gonna have a video out on the White House card and also fights to make after UFC. Actually, do I even want to put out a fights to make video? Let's see. Charles versus Max. I could put out one already. This card kind of sucked. I might not even put out a matchups to make. I don't know. We'll do a White House card, mate. White House fucking video first. But thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Absolutely domination from Charles Khabib Oliveira. See you later. Remember to like, comment, subscribe.